Hello, and welcome back to another episode of This is for the Soul, and I'm your lovely host, Brianna Shadee. On this podcast, we talk about all things personal development, mental health, spirituality, girl talk, you name it, we're going to talk about it. So the inspiration for today's episode is life. We're gonna have a little chit chat on karma, emotional boundaries, and simply just how being kind to one another can make a huge difference in not only how we show up for each other, but for ourselves. So here's the thing. Everybody goes through shit. We crash out, life happens, emotions flare up, and that is understandable. But what people don't understand is that when you harvest negative energy and you allow it to sit on you and fester, once you go out into the world and interact with other people, it rubs off. Energy spreads like wildfire. We are energy. It becomes a chain reaction and it flows and flows and flows. And we all feed off of vibes naturally, whether it's on a conscious or an unconscious level. Let me tell you guys a quick, funny, but not so funny story. So the other day I was getting ready to go to work. I hopped in my car, same thing every day. I park in this one spot since I've been living where I am right now, and I've never had any issues pull in, pull out, right? But this one specific morning, there was two cars parked beside me, and I was getting ready to pull my car out of this space, and I turned my wheel too early for some reason, and I accidentally side scraped this woman's entire side passenger door. I also dented my front bumper too. So that was a lot. And I was sitting there like, what the fuck? This would happen to me. But I did what any normal person is supposed to do. I do panic in these kind of situations, but I actually remained calm, and I found the lady, exchanged information, took pictures. We had a quick conversation, and she was actually very cool about it. Like, there wasn't any issues. The process went very smooth. It could have went any other way, but it didn't. And as we were walking back to our cars, once I found her, she looked at me and said, "We need more people like you in this world." And that stuck with me because it's just really wild that even doing the right thing seems completely rare nowadays. And I could have easily just pulled off, but I didn't, because not only do I have insurance, but I just would not want anyone to do that to me. I know that I would have called the police immediately. Hello. And also, karma is a motherfucker. So it's just like there's a lot of things that play into it, but beyond karma and everything else, it's about having a mutual respect for other people. And that moment reminded me of how important it is to be accountable for your actions, regardless whether you fucked up or not. And even when you do mess up, take accountability for that. But unfortunately, not everyone is built like that, and it's sad. But let's get back to the main point. We are energetic beings. We're full of energy, and that's why it is important to check ourselves before we go outside and interact with other people. You ever had a bad day, walk into a store and project that negative energy onto the cashier who was having a great day? But because you had an attitude and that energy rubbed off onto the cashier, now everybody has the attitude, because that cashier spread the energy to the next person and the next person and so on. So you see, it's just a big chain reaction. A great example of this are kids, because kids, they are the biggest energetic readers. I work with them every day. And do they work my nerves? Absolutely. But I love them. And shout out to my parents out there, because I don't know how you're doing it. These kids are built different. But naturally, children gravitate towards nurturing, loving, maternal energy because they are already full of life and they attract the same. But if a child is being raised in a space where they are constantly being yelled at, disrespected, belittled, or just surrounded with negativity, they absorb that too. They may not show signs of it right away, but it does stay with them. And when they grow up, they internalize that and they enter into this world emotionally confused and unstable. And it's just like sharks and minnows out here. A lot of people experience this. Childhood trauma, it starts at home and then it spreads. It shows up in how we talk to people, how we respond, and how we trust or don't. Now let's talk about emotional boundaries. Checking yourself doesn't mean you have to be sweet and nice and turned on 24/7. It just means that you have to adjust to your settings and being more mindful of who you're around and knowing when to protect your energy and your peace. And yes, that is easier said than done, but boundaries are necessary and they are even more powerful when you can communicate them clearly. If you need space, just simply say, I need some space right now. If you don't want to talk, just say, I don't feel like talking. I would like time to myself. If someone is trauma dumping on you and you're not in the right headspace, it's okay for you to say, I care, but I cannot hold this space for you right now. And I also learned this from someone else a long time ago that if you are the one who needs to vent or trauma dump, instead of just automatically venting to that one person that you would vent to, ask that person, hey, I need to vent. Are you able to listen to me? Are you able to hold this space? Because a lot of times when people want to vent, they just want a listening ear. And sometimes people will vent and then the other person that they're talking to will put in their 2 cents and give their opinion and all that stuff when really nobody asks for all that. So that's why it's important to ask, set up a boundary, okay? And a lot of us as adults, we internalize these things even though we don't want to, and we suffer in silence just to avoid conflict. But that does build up. And then when it's time to be present or show up and engaged, we're drained or we're irritable, or worst case scenario, we explode. Been there, done that. It's not good to hold in negative energy. It's not good to let your feelings and emotions fester because they will come out. And listen, regardless of what people think or feel, you have free will to protect your peace. And sometimes when you simply do just communicate, you would be very surprised at how people would react to you. Now, I'm not condoning cutting everybody off and being cold-hearted, but I am saying it is okay to just be selective about who you want to be around you and what feels good. Trust your judgment. And if something feels off, believe that because you're probably right. I know how hard it is to cut cords and let things go, especially with people that I care about. Sometimes it's very easy to get caught up on the idea of someone instead of the reality of who they really are. And if that person is meant to go, friend, family member, romantic partner, they will go one way or another. And as an intuitive person with a lot of big emotions and feelings, I love hard, I feel hard, and I try to see the good in everybody. But when I do bond with someone and I feel that close connection, oftentimes I want it to last forever. One thing that I've learned, a very hard lesson that I've learned, is sometimes you have to be the one to take off the rose-colored glasses or life will snatch them off for you. And when people show you who they really are, believe them the first time, because it's all about judgment. And it's all about and being able to sniff out those situations that might not be benefiting you anymore, or those people who just might not be good for you. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. Protect your energy, communicate your boundaries, and don't let guilt make you shrink for the comfort of others. Your peace is worth protecting always. That is the end of this episode. If it did resonate with you, don't forget to share, leave a rating, follow the podcast, and also follow me on TikTok at Soul, Sage, and Tarot for more fun. I love you guys as always, and I thank you so much for rocking with me. And until next time, I will chit chat with you next episode. Bye. Mwah.